So you have these two natures. You obviously are pointing towards the Rousseau version, which is if everybody has basic safety,
Yes,
basic
yes.
clothing, basic...
It will be easier to talk about ideology
Yes.
with people, about culture, about to be clever, to thinking about maybe something high, about maybe your soul, about something else about this.
Sure,
Yeah.
but Ivan, the issue here is somebody could say,
Yep.
your conception of human nature, how do you know that's true? Because followers of Thomas Hobbes would say, no, that view of human nature is wrong. Human beings are actually at bottom, savage-like, and we have a veneer of civility because we have laws above us. You're saying the opposite. You're saying human civility is human nature. Without an authority, we'll be nice. But how do you know which view of human nature is correct?
I'm thinking, first of all, I think in my family, in my life, yeah?
Right.
I'm thinking what good for me. Yeah, I know what is culture, I know what is good for me, and I know that if everything will be good for you, I will be safety with you, yeah? You will be not hungry, you will have everything, and you will help me. So if people will help each other, they then will help you. So this is my idea. And
But the reason you have that idea is because you're a good person. But there's lots of people.
I'm in real, it's 99% the same as like me.
No.
But it's a problem of society.
Okay, so I'll give you an example.
It's a problem of propaganda. It's a problem of the TV movies, which are not good culture.
No, but you have to understand, Ivan, that
Yeah.
you're projecting your goodness on people. The world is not as good as you. Not everybody follows the ideas that you have. Do you see?
Yes.
What I'm trying to get to, I believe this idea, some of the ideas here
Yeah.
are excellent.
Yep.
I don't think anybody would disagree.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to get to, Ivan, is you need to have a set of beliefs and values in order to be a good person. You can't just have good ideas. Do you see?
So this means in this creative society, all people will be like me, because it's normal to be polite, to be good. It's normal.
But then, why do we have so much crime in London? Why do we have so much? So there is evil in society.
Because governments or people on the top, they are thinking, okay, if a society will be separate, it will be easy to manage it. So that's why they are making it. That's why they're making so poor life. That's why the police is not working now. That's why. It's a problem.
But the people at the top,
Yep.
they're from the bottom.
Yes.
So,
So we are asking people from the bottom. We are not talking with people on the top because they don't want it.
no, I understand that. But look, what I'm trying to get to is for any good idea for how a society functions,
Yes.
at rock bottom, you need a set of beliefs and values.
Yes.
So the beliefs and values that you have,
Yes.
I'm trying to understand what are they under your worldview. Because what I would say as a Muslim is, if society collectively
Yes.
doesn't have faith in God, then it's hard for people to be moral. Because ultimately, there's no idea that if I do something good, there's somebody watching me. If I do something evil, somebody's watching me.
Yes.
Human beings without faith, I believe, can do. Look, as an example, we're having a conversation. Sorry, we're having
we have to finish.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Look, what I'm trying to get to is, as a Muslim, I don't disagree with some of the things you mentioned here. I think they're excellent, Ivan. But I would say we should tell people not just how to behave, but why behavior like this is good.
Yes.
And I believe it comes back down to whether you believe in God or not. I don't believe you can have good ideas in society being implemented without God.
It's the next step. Because
Okay.
next step will be, we will think, because we need to unite all over the world. I think for me, Islam must be all over the world.
Yes.
Because Islam, it's love. Yeah, it's a religion of love. But now we are so separate. If you will talk about this, people will hate you because I'm thinking now another way. So first of all, we need to give people more food, more clothes, more some social things. And the next step, we will talk about humanity. We'll talk about what something else.
Okay.
On top.
So I'll give you one historical example, and I want your thoughts on it.
Okay.
I'll give you my perspective on it, you give your thoughts. Lenin wanted good for society, even though I disagree with him because he was an atheist. But then, when he created this structure,
Yes.
the ones who took over after him, like Stalin, who he didn't want him to take over, they became tyrants. Now, what they did is they tried to implement what you said. They tried to give everybody.
But they don't give power to people, because in
They
communism,
only talked about it. They only talked about it, but didn't give it.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I was pointing towards. Whoever comes to power, they can make you all the promises they want, but when they get power,
so that's why we don't have any leaders in creative society. You see, there is no leader. There is no man who, oh, I'm the first in creative society, so I will be the first president. It's impossible in creative society because you have self-government, you have management on the place where I'm expert. I'm expert in construction, so I can construct.
but
That's all.
then you would be the leader
No,
of that area.
No. I don't want to be a leader. I want to be a simple man.
Only someone that can do the job the best can take responsibility upon him to achieve something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries. But by the way,
But then if they're not good at that job, they get replaced by someone who is better.
okay. Now here's my question to you. How is that different to what the promises that were made in the early 20th century by the socialists? They said the same thing that you're saying.
Because that's how they gain to power.
And when they got to power, they didn't do that.
No, because
What-
power corrupts.
Corrupts. But the point I was trying to tell Ivan, sorry I didn't catch your name.
Edward.
My name is Suboor. The point I was trying to get to is, as a Muslim, I would say these ideas, some of them that I read, I haven't read all of it, the 8 things you have, some of them are excellent and most of humanity would agree.
Well, that's because it's taken from
Humanity. But the point I was saying to Ivan, and I want to say to you, without faith in God, humanity is not going to act in a moral way. You need faith to act. I wanted your opinion on this.
Yeah, well, you see, the correlation between God and humaneness is so close together that it's inseparable.
Yes.
Right? But if people don't believe in God, for argument's sake,
Yeah.
we have atheists, we have Christians, we have Buddhists. How do we unite everybody?
Okay.
You can't convert everyone to Islam if they don't want
No,
to, right?
no.
So therefore, you have to have an alternative. And an alternative is a neutral, free of religion, free of politics organization that preserves all people's beliefs. But we concentrate on the 8 foundations which are beneficial to anybody,
Right.
any human being.
So-
because these are humane requirements
Yeah.
that people themselves have demonstrated.
Yeah. So when you're talking about, say, Islam, I'm not saying we convert the entire world, because some people disagree and say I'm a Buddhist, I'm whatever.
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
But you can agree upon certain shared values in society and say, I don't want to harm you, you don't want to harm me, let's be friends. However, the point I was getting to is these ideas, ultimately, unless people come with a perspective on God in the world, any laws you tell them, any ideas you tell them, they're not going to listen. Do you see?
Yes.
Well, not necessarily. I would disagree. You
Okay,
know why I would
sure.
disagree? Excuse me. I believe in God. You believe in God. For us, yes, we understand that the way it should be.
Yeah.
But for those people that don't believe in God, some people have their grievances with God, thinking that God is to blame for whatever lack of whatever they may not have had, or whatever may have happened to them in their life. Right? They may blame God for it. Right? Which, in fact, God had nothing to do with.
Well, God.
Right? But what I'm saying is that people having something, some base to start from, then when they grow spiritually, they can then make an educated choice. You follow?
I understand where you're coming from, but a question I would give to you, Ed, is don't you think we should be looking for guidance from God on how to run society? Because human ideas,
Prophets did that for us.
yes,
Prophets did that for us. They came, they told us how we should live. We should love each other, we should live in peace, we should treat each other as we would ourselves. This is all, this is there,
yeah.
right? So they came and they said that to us as a guidance. We already have that. The trouble is, people are not following it. Okay, and in order for them to follow it, they need to see the benefit of it. Because in the current society, as a consumerist society that we live in,
Yeah.
they fend for themselves.
Right.
That's how the society is created.
It's a rat race.
That's correct. So the more money you make, the more freedom you'll have. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. But they don't know that, do they?
And the more happiness you have, apparently.
Apparently. But it's not true.
Not true.
We know that it's not true. Unless you have God inside you and you have that love,
Yes.
you can then feel His support, His love, and you can function.
See, when you talk about the benefits of having this society, I know where you're coming from. But your point, Ed, is the point I was trying to make to Ivan. I don't think you disagree. I see my job as somebody who comes across a lot of people who don't believe in God. And I believe for society, even at a micro level, obviously I'm not talking about global and state, even at a micro level, to be better, human beings ultimately need to be connected to God.
They do. Well, we are connected. Whether they
I don't think it's society.
Listen, they don't know that, but they are. And the thing is, the good news is, science is now coming closer and closer to the point that they realize that there is an existence of God. And our job will be a lot easier in the very near future, thanks to quantum physics and the findings that they have had. So this is all a progression. It's happening. It's happening at a faster pace than before because we have the communication now. We have the internet. We have anyone that wants to do research, they can do that. Okay. So in a way, your job is helped by a lot of new discoveries that are coming out. So those people that are not convinced yet, soon will be.
I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
although I would slightly disagree. I would say the evidence is already there and has always been there.
I know.
The problem that I believe people have suffered from is we collectively as human beings, we have plugged into the individualistic, capitalistic, naturalistic, materialistic worldview and we've forgotten God.
That's right.
Because anybody, I've seen this in the world, anybody who's away from major cities are more likely to believe in God than people who don't live in major cities. And the reason is when you're out in the desert, when you're out in the villages, you see nature, you see the sun, you see this, and you understand your dependency as a human being, how fragile you are.
That's correct.
But when you are in this rat race, in this capitalistic utopia, you forget God. So even though we come from different perspectives, I'm Muslim, I'm not sure whether you're Christians or something else, at least we can agree without God, you cannot have true happiness in your life.
No, that's true. Sure, we don't disagree.
We don't
It was wonderful speaking to you, gentlemen. Ed, and
Thank you.
Evan, I have a copy of the Quran because I took your materials, so I thought it'd be good for you guys.
Thank you. That's very.
It's very nice. I'll get you a copy as well. Very good speaking. Thank you.